Today, I have a very simple role. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jim Shelton. My bio's in the thing. I won't talk about that. I'll just tell you three quick things about me. Number one, you met my colleague Cecilia last night. She told you she's an extrovert. I am an introvert. There's going to be some good jokes about the introvert who went to the conference after COVID isolation. So the second thing is I have one superpower, and that is I find people that are better than me who want to change the world, and I surround myself with them. And that's all of you. That's Jeff and the folks at the Institute. And fortunately for me, it is the folks I get to go to work with every day at Blue Meridian on the Place Matters team. You see them much more than you see me, so you know what I'm talking about, and I'm just grateful for all of you. The third thing I want you to know about me is that I'm something I call a Stockdale optimist. Now, some of you may have heard this story before about this guy named Admiral Jim Stockdale. He was a prisoner of war in Vietnam. He survived. He was known for surviving because of the extent of the torture that he endured. And when they asked him how he survived, he said something very simple. He said, "You have to maintain faith that you will prevail in the end, which you can never afford to lose. And you have to also maintain the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current situation, no matter what they are." Now, what I believe is that everyone in this work must be a Stockdale optimist. The list of things that we see on a daily basis, that our young people see every day on a daily basis, the things that we have going on around the country right now, the things that are going around the world, brutal and relentless. But as was said last night, you show up. You show up every single day. And you do your thing because it needs to be done. And because you do that, we're going to prevail. Now, my main purpose up here today is actually to introduce Secretary Miguel Cardona, who'll be up here in 1 second. I think the reason that the folks at the Institute had the wisdom to ask me to do this is because they know I actually can really relate to and have deep respect for what it takes to do that job. And the first thing you should know is that in order to do that job, you definitely have to be a Stockdale optimist. The things that you confront in that job, imagine the things that you see in your community, multiply them across your city, multiply them across your state. And then there are actually 50 states. And I'll tell you, when I got there, the first day on the job, I wound up in a 20-minute conversation about Montana, and that was about 19 more minutes than I had talked about Montana in my entire life. And so the Secretary of Education is seeing all of those things, and imagine the fights that we're having about how to protect our children right now, that he is having on our behalf. And then showing up every day. And I gotta tell you, he showed up this morning early and vibrant. I was like, dang, okay. Second thing to know is there are lots of things about his background that are really important. I found three things that have really stood out to me. Number one is that he dedicated his career to the place where he grew up. So the secretary is from Connecticut. Go Connecticut. You don't hear that very often either. Go Connecticut. And became a principal there, became the commissioner of education there, all to improve the lives of the people in the community where he grew up. Like, he gets the importance of the community. The second thing to know is he also gets our work. Like, as an educator, often when you're in education circles, the conversations quickly go to the importance of teaching and the importance of great teachers. The secretary absolutely knows the importance of great teachers, the importance of diverse teachers, the importance of great teaching by those teachers. But he's always also emphasized that kids need more, that the integration of the social sector and the community resources and people coming together around the needs of our children to make sure they can excel, that's important. And it's not just important, it needs support to get done. And so you've seen the resources that he stewarded, whether it was around community schools or supporting promised neighborhoods, or in the way he talks about the way the work should happen when he goes out in the field. So your work is his work, and our work is supported by him. And the last thing I will say is, he gets not only the connection that way, but also from birth to preschool, to school, to post-sec, to work. That those pathways don't just happen. That they not only need to exist, but they need to be clear and supported and easily accessed by each and all children. And as secretary, one of the hardest things to do, frankly, in any federal agency, well, anybody who's worked in it, how many people have actually worked inside of government bureaucracy? Okay, it actually doesn't matter what bureaucracy you've been a part of. How hard is it to get across a silo? And so doing the work of blurring those lines is something that people don't talk about a lot, but it means a lot. I could in there, but this is what I really want to end on. I talked to several people I still know at the department about the secretary, and to a person who was really interested, I said, so what's he really proud of? Like, what makes him smile when you mention it? To a person, they said, his family. His wife and 2 kids, one of which graduated from high school. I'm sure he'll tell you about that. But most importantly, I just want you to know that he is here because he believes in the work you're doing. And with that, Secretary Miguel Cardona.
Jim's gonna make a brother cry in the morning. Too early for that. You're gonna make me go off my script. Thank you, Jim. The words of Sean Carter, allow me to reintroduce myself. Grandson to Avelino Cardona, who came to Connecticut, I say from the paradise of projects, so his children could have a better life. 2 generations removed, I'm blessed, humbled, to advise the president on issues of education because of their sacrifice. And it was a community that raised me. So I am a beneficiary of your work. So thank you. And thank you, Jeff, for your inspiring leadership, unwavering commitment to opportunity. You truly have inspired a nation and multiple generations. Please join me in just acknowledging again Mr. Jeffrey Canada for his work. To the educators, school leaders, partners, and advocates joining today, you have my deepest respect and deepest gratitude. At a time when doubters sow division in our communities and some seek political gain by creating chaos, you inspire by reminding us that there is healing in coming together, that you overcome a pandemic through partnerships. I want to start with a few shared principles that guide our work together. First, every student has something great to offer this country. Second, education must be inclusive, equitable, and responsive to the demands of 21st century rapidly changing economies. Place-based, cradle-to-career programs like Harlem Children's Zones and Promised Neighborhoods have transformative impacts on students and communities. We've seen the results. Over 900 Harlem Children's Zone students in college. 200 international visits. The impact is worldwide. They know what we're here to acknowledge. That when we meet students and families where they are and address the full range of challenges facing them, like housing, health, safety, we pave the path to multi-generational prosperity. When we use wide-ranging, holistic, on-the-ground strategies like community outreach and well-being initiatives, we pave the path to healthier, vibrant communities. When we build on the strengths, ingenuity, and creativity of educators, families, and community, we build stronger society, and we weave powerful connections that improve equitable outcomes for everyone. And when we act on these shared beliefs, there's no limit to what our students can achieve. And if we act with the same level of unapologetic urgency around these beliefs as we did when we were trying to safely reopen schools, I'm confident that the brightest days in education are ahead of us. At a time when some states are passing laws to discriminate against students, our next steps must be to ensure that all students feel safe, seen, and supported at school. This means partnering with parents and families through new efforts like our department's National Parents and Family Engagement Council, which facilitates strong relationships between schools and parents, families and caregivers. This means helping communities, especially those that have been historically underserved. If in the reimagining of schools, we're not leveling up our authentic engagement with parents and community partners, we are failing our kids. We have a reset in education. Let's not waste it. At the Department of Education, we want to support these efforts. We recently released 2 notices inviting applications, one for our Promised Neighborhood program and another for our full-service community schools program. Together, these efforts will help open doors to opportunities to countless families by expanding high-quality early learning, offering health and dental care, providing adult education, and promoting other wraparound services. You see, children don't learn as well if their teeth hurt. They don't learn as well if they're not sure where they're sleeping at night. They don't learn as well if their stomach is grumbling. And supporting all students means learning conditions, as we're doing through the bipartisan Safer Communities Act. The bill also strengthens efforts to train and diversify a strong pipeline of school counselors, school social workers, school psychologists. We need to double down on the mental health support staff in our schools now. And the money is there. I've been in education over 2 decades. We've always been asked, do more with less. There's more money in education now. We need to match the money with urgency, with action. I'll pause here because I want to highlight an important point. Ensuring our kids are safe and seen at school also means recruiting and retaining educators who are as beautifully diverse as the students we serve, as beautifully diverse as this room here. The bottom line is all students benefit when they learn with teachers of color. I know I did. I still remember my first day of second grade in Mr. O'Neill's class. It was there where I was able to see what I could be. We're strongly pushing states to use the American Rescue Plan dollars to diversify their professional staff and work to retain them by providing adequate training and competitive salaries. Listen, we need to lift the profession, and that starts with respecting our educators and paying them a competitive salary. They deserve it. We can't be talking about trying to diversify the profession and have a profession where people with master's degree have to work on the weekend, driving Ubers or bartending to make ends meet. That's unacceptable. Let's be serious. We also need to make college more affordable and more accessible. That means giving all students college credits in dual enrollment programs, holding colleges accountable for a good return on investment, and requiring better career and college counseling in high school. If we're serious about closing gaps and giving all students a chance at the American dream, high school students need to have options when they graduate. Our new Pathways initiative is designed to advance that goal and come together with students at the center by offering $200 million to jumpstart an ambitious expansion of career-connected learning. If our country's going to move forward, we're going to have to take a page out of your playbook and come together and make sure that we're working with students at the center of the conversations. And our goal is not to recover from the pandemic. We need to thrive. As I said earlier, Many of us said, you can't do changes. 2 years ago, we went from in person on one day to totally online. We could do anything. We just have to believe we can. And my fear is that for the last 2 years, we fought COVID. For the next 2 years, we're going to have to fight complacency. And you're the frontliners there. My fear is that as masks come off, people think, all right, we can go back to how it was. It didn't work. It didn't work. We've normalized gaps, disparities. We've become desensitized to the fact that in so many communities, black and brown students are underperforming. Let's maintain a sense of urgency like we had 2 years ago when we were trying to protect our babies and get them back into the classroom. Today, let's renew our focus on the whole child, from cradle to career. Let's give students the skills to compete and the confidence to believe in themselves, to pursue their dreams. Let's give our students the support of great educators, mentors, whole communities along every step of their journey. Today, you come from every corner of our country to affirm your life's work, to collaborate, to improve the lives of students in your community. That is the power of place. Thank you.